Good evening and welcome to the Dollar Dogs and Beer podcast. I'm your host Andrew, and joining me from what's truly one of the most impressive runs of bowling this man has ever had in his life, Jason. Welcome back from your trip out to Vegas, your trip up to Allentown. How's it going, man?
Doing good. Glad to be back. I'm good to glad to take a break from bowling for a couple of weeks here. Did 16 games out in Reno, and then this past week it was in Altoona. We did 9 more games plus some legs. So over the course of the weeks, had about 28 games. So don't normally do that. So I'm glad to give the shoulder a break, but yeah, it's going to be a profitable trip. It was a great time. Bowled the best I have in these tournaments. So yeah, definitely excited. But I'd say I'm glad to be back talking baseball, but I'm not feeling baseball for I'm sure you know why reasons. So I'm focusing more on the hockey side of things right now. So I have
As
the
you
Bears.
should.
I have the Bears shirt on tonight since they're moving on to the second round. So, yeah, the Phillies are kind of dead to me right now. But
Yeah, dude, I feel that. I remember last year when I watched less baseball than I have in years. Yeah, hockey is in full swing in the playoffs right now. I've been an Avalanche fan since I was a kid, back when Hershey used to be affiliated with them. Never changed my allegiance there, so I'm very happy with how the Avs have been playing all year. I've always had a soft spot for the Flyers, though, and really hope they get their stuff together and finish off Pittsburgh tonight. I do not want this. I do not want to give the Penguins a chance to climb back in. I don't trust them.
yeah, the longer this game and this series go on, the more anxious I get about it because only 4 teams in NHL history have come back from 3-0 deficit. I believe the last one was the Flyers in 2010. When they did it to the Bruins, they were down 3-0 in the series and came back. They were down 3-0 in Game 7 and came back to win that. So,
Jeez, that's nuts.
but yeah, so definitely I have the Flyers game off to the side here. 3-2 Penguins after the second period. So good bit of game left. Penguins got a fluky goal that they keep showing them. Like, no, come on. But it is what it
Yeah,
is. Flyers have to take care of their own business. But for
yeah.
tonight, we're going to talk some baseball.
What are you drinking tonight, Jason?
So tonight I'm decided to forego the beer and just, you know what, we're going to go with something a little more concentrated. And then we have some Josh Sellers Cab Sav red wine here. You know, it's for the antioxidants. Sure.
Absolutely, 100% was never disproven by science. For me, I'm getting over a sinus infection, so I decided to do the best part of the hot toddy, and this is some Redbreast 12-year Irish whiskey, and yeah, one of my favorites, honest to God. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, throw out
Sanitize your
some.
insides.
Exactly. Works better than bleach, kids. Trust me. Not that I ever tried bleach, but goddamn, at least I'm a professional and I know what chemicals are. All right, so it's been, man, it's been an interesting couple weeks in baseball. We were off last week. Some personal stuff came up on my side. One thing that happened last week that I do want to bring up. We don't get into college baseball too often, but one of our local teams, local-ish teams to us, set an NCAA record. Lehigh University, who is not having the greatest year at the time, they were 10-24 after the win, but they set an NCAA and Patriot League record in a 38-6 win at Coppin State. They sent, Jason, 20 runs through in the first inning. 20 out of 38 in the first
That's
inning.
that's beginner mode on the show level of offense right there.
Right? That record, by the way, was set over 50 years ago. That's how long that record has stood. Senior Aiden Quinn drew 7 walks. He is now the all-time leader in NCAA history for most walks drawn by a single player in a game. And again, that 38 runs are the most ever scored in a single game by a Patriot League team. So, it absolutely insane. 13 of those 20 runs were scored in a row from either bases loaded walks, hit by pitch, or wild pitches. There was a grand slam in there as well because, honestly, in a 20-run inning, if there wouldn't have been a grand slam, it that would have been insane. So,
that's wild.
You nailed it. That's literally setting the computer on the show to as stupid as humanly possible, and then making it dumber than that. And that's generally how you get 20 runs in it. Like that's I can't with that. I've seen some crazy NCAA. You tend to see crazy NCAA scores because you have the quality of the pitching is not, especially in the lower levels of college baseball, is not typically great. And that really showed out in this game. I'm pulling up the box score here. Copen State's first guy did not credit an out, 8 earned runs, 2 hits, 2 walks. The next guy got a third of an inning, 5 earned runs, three walks. They both had a wild. Actually, every Copen pitcher except for 2 had wild pitches. The next guy did not record an out, gave up 6 runs, 6 walks. And then they finally found a guy who got 2 2/3, although he still gave up 5 runs and a walk. Copen State walked 25 batters to 10 strikeouts with 11 pitches and 9 hit batsmen.
That's absolutely brutal. Right.
Right. Insane. They threw, as a staff, Copen threw 306 pitches. Wow.
Mm.
So that was absolutely insane. I'm not sure we'll ever see anything like it again. Aiden Quinn, by the way, did actually get 1 at bat. He did have 1 official at bat to the 7 walks, 1 strikeout in that at bat, but he still had 4 RBIs and 5 runs scored despite that.
Okay.
I can't.
That's
terrifying.
The stats are just, yeah.
All right. So looking around the league, Joe sent over some stuff about the Central. The Cubs are hot as molten lava right now. They had a 10-game winning streak in there. It did just break. The rookies, Griffin, Weatherholt, Sal Stewart, they're making a great early impact across the division. The NL Central has been a fun division to watch. Every team somehow is over 500 right now. The Reds are leading the way. The scrappy little team that I never seem to give up on when we're doing early season predictions. They are a game up on the Cubs right now. I've been super impressed with this division as a whole. I especially Pittsburgh right behind the Cubbies at 16-12. I certainly did not see Pittsburgh finally putting it together, bringing up the right combination of rookies, and finally playing base. It does make me mad on one point, though, because they're still not spending hardly at all in free agency. They'll just make a random splash here and there. But, for all of my friends who root for the Pirates and have just been in a years-long deluge of horrible baseball caused by horrible management that did not give 2 craps about this team, I'm really happy for you guys that you finally have a team to be excited to watch because, damn, they are good right now.
Yeah. And thinking about the Pirates, Connor Griffin, he just had his first career home run the other game. The Pirates are looking good. If you look at the divisional standings, you have the Brewers are down at the bottom of that division. So I know Joe is not sad about that. But the Cubbies, they had the 10-game winning streak before losing a game to the Dodgers. I don't know if they ended up winning that series. I know they took the first game and then lost.
Wait a second.
I'm not entirely sure if they won the rubber match of that series, but
I'm pulling it up right now because I forgot to check that.
it says
No,
they're on
they
a
did not. The
2-game losing
Dodgers.
streak.
Yeah, the
So it
Dodgers
looks
did
like they
take the
lost it.
series. But even still, the Dodgers are just they are what they are right now. When you have enough money and deferred cash to screw with the AAV and make a super team, that's kind of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Sorry, did I say
So,
that?
but yeah, the Cubs are looking good. There's a few teams here that are really good. They've actually kind of been a little surprising. The Reds. It's not necessarily surprising that they're doing well. It's how well they're doing at the moment. Being 18-10.
What's surprising to me about the Reds, they're killing it on the road right now. They're 10-3 on the road versus 8-7 at home. That's insane.
I mean, and I think we knew the Braves were going to be better than last year. I knew we had them in second or third in the division, like when we did our predictions. But I don't know that we saw them starting out of the gate 20-9. 10-5 at home, 10-4 away, a +65 run differential, which is second in the NL.
Yeah, second to the Dodgers.
It's actually second in MLB behind just the Dodgers by 2. So yeah, like it's one where I don't think we're necessarily surprised that the Braves are doing well. It's just how well they're doing.
Yeah, because there were definitely questions coming in. We had pitching injuries again in the preseason. They've rolled through it. Strider's on his way back. He is scheduled to start likely in Colorado this weekend for his big league debut for this year. He's looked great in the minors. He's blowing everybody down. To be honest, I don't know how quote unquote necessary the IL stint was, but clearly it seems to have helped. They've been fine without him so far. Reynaldo Lopez is going to go down to the bullpen for a while, even though he's pitching pretty well to start the year, just to work on some mechanical issues he's been having. Making sure his windup stays consistent. I think they're worried that that's what caused the injury 2 years towards the end of the season 2 years ago, and they just want to make sure he gets locked in and focused and giving him more regular reps versus the starting rotation, since we have the pitching right now that we can spare to let him do that.
Yeah.
I did see the Braves just inducted Brian Snitker into the Team Hall of Fame. Very, very well deserved. I saw a crazy stat earlier. Give me 1 second to pull it up here. Yeah, okay, here it is. So all time, Atlanta has had, between Atlanta, Boston, Milwaukee, there have been 2,185 players throughout their history. Brian Snitker, between playing with, coaching, any other interaction, he's been around and been involved with almost half of them.
Nice.
He has been with the franchise for that long. Damn. I know I very much was souring on Snit last year because it seemed like things were not changing. There was no urgency with the team. And Walt Weiss has really done a great job injecting some fire into this team. He's not afraid to shuffle his lineup around, whereas Snitz was very much, we're going to keep running it out, see what happens. They'll work it out. But I still have to give Snitker credit because, when they brought him up as the interim manager, was that 18 they brought him up now? It was a while ago. Nobody was sure how this career minor league coach was going to do. And, it was a young team. These guys had already played with Snit. They knew what his expectations were and they ran with it. He brought another World Series back to Atlanta. Nothing but respect for Brian Snitker for everything he did for the franchise, not just as the manager in Atlanta, but the whole way down, and the impact he's had on the franchise over the, I think, 50 or 60 years he's been with the entire franchise. It's insane.
Yeah.
So props to Snit, well deserved.
Yeah.
All right, is now the time you need to unload about the Phillies?
Yeah, I'll cover some Eastern Division things between the National League and the American League. The American League, the National League, I can't with the Phillies right now.
Yeah, I hear you.
They have given me zero reason to watch on TV, and it's just so bad right now. Like, I will absolutely be going to the games that we have with our ticket plan because it's still enjoyable to go to the games, and be there in person. But if I'm home and they're on, I'll have something else on right now because I pretty much know what's going to happen. It's going to be first inning. If they're on the road, they're not going to score. Then they'll give up 3 or 4 runs in the first. Or if they're at home, they'll give up 3 or 4 runs in the top of the inning and play from behind the rest of the game. So they're 9-19. So they have a team 220 batting average, which is 29th overall. A team 5.05 ERA, which is 27th overall. They are the worst team in baseball. The pitching staff has allowed 29 home runs already. It's the pitchers who are supposed to be doing well have struggled. Luzardo just got an extension, Sanchez just got an extension, and they're struggling out the gate. Maybe they are pitching well, but then they're not getting the run support. So they fall behind by a couple runs. There's all this pressure on the pitchers to perform above their best performance because they're not getting any run support. They are a negative 54 run differential, which is worst in baseball. So they're not good right now. And I'm almost at the point where I'm not buying the whole it's early, things can turn around, because May is this week.
Yeah.
You can handle that for, part of a month of the month of April. You can say, yeah, it's early. But at some point here this week, the counter's going to flip over to May.
Yeah.
10-game losing streak. And honestly, if not for the game where they get Wheeler back and they win in extras by putting up 4 runs in the 10th over the Braves on Saturday, It's a 12-game losing streak matching the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I've said things in the past. Like, I said last year, I said Topper needs to go, Kevin Long needs to go. I stand by that right now. I was called online a shitty fan who knew nothing because I was calling for their jobs. Look at how it started. It's too lackadaisical. Topper messes with the lineups. I'm sorry, you should not. I don't care that Brandon Marsh has not hit lefties well in his career. You do not sit the guy who has the best batting average on your team, who has come through in the clutch lately, who you sat him a day after he hit 2 home runs, all because it was a left-handed pitcher in Chris Sale. I don't understand. And you set him for Dylan Moore, who this season, do you know what his batting average is, Andrew?
Is he under the Mendoza line, I'm guessing?
You and I have as many hits as he does.
Oh, Jesus.
He does not have a hit this season, and he keeps getting playing time whenever a lefty is on the mound. So, yes, this is on Topper. It's on the stars. It's on the players who are not performing up to standards. Alec Boehm needs to be benched until he gets his shit figured out. I feel for the guy because he's got a really, really terrible situation going on with his family. It has to be affecting his performance. And I know if you and I have personal things affecting our performance at work, we're not working. Yeah. So changes have to be made. They have to be made now, or you're just going to call this a lost season. And it's a shame for that to happen in the year that they're hosting the All-Star game, because the fans it's going to be packed and people are going to want to see their favorite Phils play.
Is there a curse on teams hosting the All-Star game?
I did check that because I was like, I know the Braves struggled last year.
Yeah, because we lost
overall it's kind of 50-50.
Okay.
But I also think, people are, if you really want to get superstitious, this is the curse of Harry the K's.
That's right.
They took a legendary broadcaster's name off of a place in left field, and the team is doing shit. So there's so many different things that you can look at, so many different things you can, consider with this. But ultimately, the Stars are not getting it done. Schwarber is, I'm pleased with Schwarber so far. He has 9 home runs. He's not going to have the batting average that other players like Turner should have, things like that.
Yeah.
But the decisions that are being made don't make sense. So there either needs to be changes with Topper and with Long. I think both have to go at the same time. Or if you ride it out this season, Dombrowski has to go down with the ship and be gone. Because they're the ones that said, hey, we're content with our team. Look at where being content has gotten you. It's gotten you to 9-19 and the worst team in the league because you decided to run it back.
Yeah. I said all off season they need outfield. They barely addressed it.
Well, I mean,
Justin Crawford's been great, but
he's has some defensive struggles.
But
he's showing. Overall, I'm fine with. Marsh has been outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't necessarily think the outfield is the problem. I think team fielding in general is a problem. Turner struggling. You also they're down JT Realmuto for a few games with a back injury because of the collision with one of the Braves players this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And Marchand does not call as good of a game as Realmuto does.
Why is Marchand starting and not Stubbs? Point taken.
Yeah, you have to look at the manager. But
yeah, I don't get that because Stubbs has been there forever. He knows that staff almost as well as JT does.
Yeah, and I think the main thing is though Marchand is originally the backup, so he's going to be the starter while Stubbs is now the backup because they called him up due to the injury to JT.
Yeah,
but it's just mind-blowing. This team should not be this bad.
No, absolutely.
And that tells me that there's not so much issues within the coaching staff. Like the players love Topper. That's great. But look at where it's getting you. It was a very easy, laid back, chill spring training where they also were shit, and it's translated into a terrible start to the season. So things need to change. If they don't, it's going to be a very long season, a lost season. So, but the other thing then is too, you have the New York Mets, and I know we talked about how there are teams that have been surprisingly good. The Phillies and the Mets have been surprisingly bad.
Yeah.
The Mets had a 12-game losing streak before winning a couple games against the Twins, but then they just got swept by the Rockies. So I like the Phillies and the Mets are tied at 9-19. So they are tied for the worst record in baseball. And the next closest to them, you have multiple teams at 11. You have the Red Sox, White Sox, Royals, Astros, all at 11. So the Phillies and the Mets are 2 games away, 2 games behind, not worst in baseball. So things have to change. And if Dombrowski doesn't, he's going to be going down with the ship at the end of this year when everybody goes. Which kind of takes me into the American League East, where the big story here is the Red Sox firing Alex Cora, the manager, along with 5 members of the coaching staff. Hitting coach, third base coach, bench coach, assistant hitting coach, and the Major League hitting strategy coach. All let go. Jason Varitek is being reassigned to a new role within the organization. That's kind of you're a Red Sox legend. We don't want to lose you, but we don't want you in this role anymore. So, and mind you, they did this immediately after the Red Sox obliterated the Orioles.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot happening in the Eastern divisions here. Some good for, say, like the Braves. And even if you want to take a look behind the Braves, Marlins and Nationals are both under 500. They're 2 games under. I would expect the Phillies and the Mets to both pass them at some point here. But I mean, the division's kind of already getting away from some of these teams in the division. I mean, even all 4 teams behind the Braves. I mean, if you look at the Marlins are 6.5 back, for end of April,
that's huge. Yeah.
So, and I'm looking here. If you want to take a look at the rest of baseball, you have the Rays are 1 game back, Guardians half a game back, Rangers 1 game back, Cubs 1 game back, Padres half a game back. So it's potentially going to be an absolute runaway in the National League East here. And then
I've got to tell you, of the 2 teams in the basement, I feel better, if that's the right word. How about more confident that the Phillies have a chance to turn it around than I do the Mets, because the Mets can't score a run to save their lives. They have scored 92 runs this season. There is only one other team that has scored under 100 runs, and that's the Giants at 97. I understand they've only given up 122, which is, as you pointed out, completely opposite of the Phillies, where they just give up runs and sieves. But at some point, the dam's going to break. At least the Phillies have guys that can score runs. I've got a lot of questions with how the Mets are going to be able to try and bounce back if they can't score runs. So, that's just my thoughts there. It would appear that, is he back? Okay. Or did he freeze again? Uh-oh. All right, folks. Well, it looks like Jason may have frozen again, so I'll give him a second to get his stuff fixed over. Just another couple points though that from me looking around, um, the big sore spot I've seen with the Phillies inconsistent pitching, the one that I just don't understand so far the most has been Aaron Nola. In his 6 starts this year, 1-3, a 6.03 ERA. He can't get out of his own way right now. He's getting some strikeouts. He's not walking a ton of guys, but he's just getting hit all over the place, and I just don't understand what's going on there with Nola. And with the rest
Oh,
of your staff, I do think they've got a better odd to pull it back together, but
yeah,
yeah, because if the I mean, I guess the Mets bats should wake up eventually too, but
yeah,
given early returns, at least you have Schwarber, who, even though he's going to strike out 200 times, will hit 40 home runs. The Mets don't
yeah.
have that anymore without Alonso.
He'll hit the home runs. He'll get walks. He'll get on base. Um, but I think Nola is beyond washed up right now. He he definitely belonged on Team Italy with all the meatballs that he serves up. Um, and I still think Luzardo pitches well when he's in the windup. When he goes to the stretch, it seems like he's tipping pitches because he will be very good. Like he'll have 3 or 4 like shutout innings. He gets somebody on base, and the inning falls apart. Um, and then Sanchez, I think Sanchez needed Wheeler to come back
Yeah,
so that he doesn't feel like he's shouldering the entire rotation.
yeah,
Um,
agreed.
and then Andrew Painter, I think, has been what we could expect from a rookie. He's been solid. You know, he has been the unfortunate recipient of terrible defense.
Yeah, he
Um,
has been. Yeah, you're not wrong.
so yeah, but I mean, I before I was getting disconnected there, which it was going so well, but before that happened, I was saying I couldn't even enjoy the Mets 12-game losing streak because the Phils were just as bad.
Yeah,
Like that was perfect for me to be like, yeah, it's great. I love watching the Mets fall apart. The Mets suck. I'm like, no, Phillies suck too. Like I have zero that I can say about the Mets 12-game losing streak.
don't worry.
So
I got to enjoy both streaks quite a lot.
I'm sure you did. Um, but I also there's people who were saying, oh well, Billy should have gotten Harrison Bader back. They shouldn't have released Castellanos. I'm like, no, you need to
Both
look at
Bader and
this.
Castellanos have been awful this year.
They've been
Neither has been.
terrible.
No.
Well, Bader's hurt now, but he was batting 1-something with 1 homer. Castellanos has no homers. Is batting like a $140, $150.
Yeah,
And has like 6 RBI. He's actually on the verge of losing his roster spot. So I'm like, the Phils made a good decision with those two,
yeah,
but they needed to actually spend money to improve the offense. I mean, to say this is, I think, what gets me. Dombrowski and or Middleton, they were like, we're content with our team. And then this past week, they said, we don't have a cleanup hitter. So why didn't you go get one? Like yeah. So
yeah. The roster hasn't changed. The
I
only
will
big
end
change.
my Eastern Division things by saying hopefully the Orioles can get back up here because they had a little bit of a struggle. Currently on a 2-game losing streak, but we'd love to see the Orioles pick it back up. And from the NL East side of things, fire Topper, fire Kevin Long.
Yeah,
That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Yeah, I mean, well, at least they did make one positive move in throwing Taiwan Walker to the curb.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that I don't get. Like, I mean, I get that they needed somebody on the roster because of Wheeler being out. With how bad the pitching staff is, you could have had anybody pitch. It didn't make a difference. You were losing a game that he started anyway.
Yeah, you could have had
They were
me.
like, well, he started we're trying a new regimen now. Still did bad. we're going to have an opener for him. Still gave up all the runs.
Yep.
Like, he gave up so many runs. You would have thought that he was getting prepped for a colonoscopy.
Yeah.
Like, instead it's the fans who were taking it up the ass. Like, but
I mean, good God, 1-4, 913, leads the National League in earned
runs.
I
Last
can't.
day before he was released, and his ERA dropped.
That's it. That shouldn't be possible.
No. So, yeah, he seems like a fantastic guy. He was a great clubhouse presence, but he had no business pitching. And I keep thinking should have been done sooner, but we're where we are now. So hopefully they can turn around. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah.
All right. Joe's notes here in the AL Central. The Murakami effect has been so real to the White Sox start. Murakami has been he's been nuts. 11 home runs, 20 runs scored, 23 hits, 20 RBIs. The White Sox have been such a pleasant surprise. I know they're only 11-17, but just 2 years ago they were, trying to break records for, most losses in a season. So anything compared to that is much improved. So
yeah,
and they've been playing pretty decently lately. I mean, they're not going to make waves in this division, but that's because they're a year or two away from even starting to think about that. The Tigers have finally also gotten out of their early season slump and remembered, oh yeah, we play in the AL Central and our division is trash.
And sorry, I actually have a little bit of breaking news for the AL Central while we're there.
Fire away.
It looks like the Guardians are going to be calling up former number 1 overall pick Travis Bazzana.
Oh, okay.
23 years old, hit 287, 422, 511 slash line in 24 AAA games this season, and he's going to be taking over at second base.
Okay. All right. So there you have that. Who did they have at second base before that? I'm just pulling the depth chart up here because I couldn't tell you the Guardians roster to save my life. Let's see. Oh, they were trying to do that platoon of Juan Brito, Daniel Schneemann, Brian Rococchio. Okay, yeah, I think this is the right move for them. Because here's the thing: the Guardians are not out of division contention by any small means. They're sitting at 500 right now.
Have a game back.
Yeah, definitely. It is too early for most teams that are not, in the basement of the NL West right now to give up on their season. Obviously the Rockies and Giants will not do anything this year. That's a race to the bottom, but right. I like that move by the Guardians. Yeah, bring him up, see what the kid can do, because your second base numbers have not been good this year. It's been pretty awful.
Right.
All right, so let's move over to the West. First of all, I want to give the Rockies props for sweeping the Mets. That was a beautiful thing to see. I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. Sorry, Todd. Yeah, actually, no, not really. I do want to address one thing, though, to a certain catcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers, the team that's got a larger payroll than how many teams combined in the bottom. The Rockies have always been a free-swinging, ambush the first pitch team. They're not stealing your signs, dumbass. They're just swinging away. And you're an idiot because as the catcher, you're not paying attention to that and calling for like sliders just off the plate to get them to chase and bury them in the count to start. That's on you. Don't blame a team that is just swing free on the first pitch for cheating, especially when they're as bad as the Rockies are. You just make yourself look like an absolute moron to anybody who's watched baseball for more than 10 minutes in the last 30 years. Idiot.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Now, my big question with the West divisions, though, right now, does anybody want to win the AL West? Like, I know the Athletics are leading right now, and honestly, good for them. Shea Langoliers, I'm seeing more and more every day why I didn't want to trade him for Olsen. He was the one guy I did not want to trade. But I'm really, really glad to see he's playing well. And is doing a good job handling the staff now that he's been up for a couple of years. The Rangers are right behind them, right at 500. The Mariners are just, I don't know what the hell the Mariners were doing to start the year. They just got into a rut and are just finally starting to break out of it.
Mm-hmm.
The Angels have been awful. The Astros have been wonderfully awful. By the way, Jason, the Astros have given up more runs than anybody in baseball right now. I know you're not heartbroken about that.
I love it. I mean, again, it's hard for me to enjoy it fully because of where my team currently is, but I do enjoy that.
But when it's the Astros, you can always make an exception.
Yeah.
This is basically our end of April look back. I am absolutely flabbergasted the A's are playing this well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really, I did not see this coming. They had an absolutely dog crap schedule to start the year. I complained about Atlanta's start, and rightfully so, but I mentioned it. I mentioned it while you were away in one of the episodes, Jason. After the Brave series, they had an off day. Got to come home for the Astros. Had an off day. Then they played at the Yankees for 3, at the Mets for 3, home for the Rangers for 4, home for the White Sox for 3, at the Mariners for 3 before getting another off day. Like, that's brutal. And they did really well. They took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. They swept the Mets. They split the Rangers series. And they dropped the White Sox, but then they won the Mariners series. I mean,
yeah. I mean, and looking at it right now, they're 15-13. They're 10-8 on the road and 5-5 at home. So,
well, considering they play in a minor league stadium, I'm really that doesn't surprise me that they're playing better on the road than at home. I mean, Luis Severino couldn't win a game at home last year if it was handed to him on a silver platter.
Right.
Give me a second. I'm just pulling up his home away splits right now to see if he actually has an at-home win this year, because to be honest, I'm not even sure he won a home game last year. Let's see. In the last 5, no, he did not win in his last 5 games. He does not have a home win. Jesus. But Severino, I will say to this, you don't get to bitch about it. You knew where the team was going to be playing before you signed for all of that money.
Right.
Yep, 2 home starts, and he is 0-1. Jeez, that's insane. So yeah, the AL Central. This is actually kind of fun to watch. Not gonna lie, I do feel for Dave, because we were all very big in on the Mariners in the offseason and in the preview. We're all thinking they finally are ready to put the pieces together, and they may still rebound and like they have not dug so deep of a hole that they can't catch the A's and bury them. But
right.
This was definitely not the start to the year that they were expecting. And that weird, stupid one-off series with the Yankees with one game on a Wednesday before. Don't ever do that again, please. That was dumb as hell and completely one of the worst broadcasts I think I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's saying something. All right. Anything else around the league you want to bring up?
No, I don't think so.
All right, what do you got for Down on the Farm this week?
Yeah, so let's go down the farm. First time I can do this one on the season. So my hitter currently for this past week is going to be Xavier Isaac from the Montgomery Biscuits, the AA team for the Tampa Bay Rays. He actually currently has a 9-game hitting streak going. And in that hitting streak, he's batting .349 with 4 home runs and 6 RBI. So interested to see how long that goes. And then the pitcher for the past week is going to be Keinar Martinez from the San Jose Giants, single A affiliate of the San Francisco Giants. And this past week, Keinar went 1-0, 5 innings pitched, only gave up 1 hit, but struck out 7.
All right, hey, that's not bad. It's really early in the year to see the minor league guys go for more than 5 to 6 right now. Give them another month.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll see the longer starts get stretched out. All right, moving it on to the hot list. All right, so my hot hitter for the week, I was between 2, so I'm going to go with this one. Ildemaro Vargas of the Diamondbacks. He crushed it. 22 at bats. He slashed 364, 364, 1.046, 7 runs, 4 homers, 12 RBIs, 8 hits, a double, a triple, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Not a bad week.
Yeah. And I did not really take a look at this. You took Vargas.
I took Vargas, yeah.
So Sal Stewart of the Reds, basically this past week, a .333 batting average, 2 home runs, 10 RBI, 8 hits in that stretch, slugged .625, OPS a little bit over 1. So, yeah, great week for Sal Stewart of the Reds.
All right. And for adulting reliever of the week, or not adult, excuse me, for Moneyball hitter of the week, since Joe's not on tonight, yeah, I'm going to do it. Joe's not here. I get to make the call. We're going to go Drake Baldwin of Atlanta. Drake had a hell of a week. I've never seen a kid this young see the ball as well as he does. 333, 455, 593. That's an OPS of 1.047. 27 at bats, 8 runs, 2 homers, 6 RBIs, a stolen base, 9 hits, a double, 6 walks. He did strike out 8 times, but the 6 walks jumped out at me. You don't see plate discipline like that very often with second-year guys ever.
Yeah.
All right, let's flip it over to the pitchers. All right, you know what? In honor of the Mets getting swept by the Rockies, I'm going to go with Chase Dollander of the Rockies. 2 appearances, 1 start. He went 1-1 on the week, 13 innings, 16 strikeouts, a very nice .69 ERA, a .85 WHIP, 1 earned run, 8 hits, 3 walks. That's not bad. No arguments there. Who do you got, Jason?
For me, look at this. I'm going to actually go all the way down, and I'm going to go with you know what? I'll throw him a bone. The Dodgers. Tyler Glasnow.
Yeah.
8 innings this past week. Only gave up. He got the win in the quality start. 9 strikeouts, and only gave up 1 hit in those 8 innings. So, and walked 1. So, yeah, he had a great week with that start. So I will take Tyler Glasnow of the Dodgers.
All right. The adulting reliever this week is going to be Jack Perkins of the Athletics. He had 2 appearances, pitched 4 innings, so a pair of long appearances, 5 strikeouts in 4 innings, 2 for 2 on save opportunities, no runs, 1 hit. So that's a whip of .25.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking down the relievers. One guy had one more save, but he gave up a run. Now I'm going to give it to the guy that let one base runner on and did it in two inning outings for saves. I like seeing closers that aren't just relegated to being one and done, that actually are allowed to stretch their arms out and pitch a little longer.
Yeah.
All right. My hot team of the week. Yeah, it's screwed. I'm going to go Homer and just go with Atlanta. They've been one of the hottest teams in the league. Period. End of discussion. Do you want to take the Cubbies for Joe?
Yeah, I'll give Joe the Cubbies here. I mean, a 10-game winning streak. Yeah. I think I would actually put them as the hottest team above the Braves.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that, to be honest.
10-game winning streak there. So yeah, Cubbies are absolutely on fire.
Yeah. It's been damn good couple weeks for the Cubs. I can tell you this, Ben, my youngest, is thoroughly enjoying watching the Cubs play their absolute hearts out right now. Also, did you see on Friday night that play Nico Horner made at second base when it ricocheted off the first baseman's glove?
Mm-mm.
So it ricocheted off. Nico was already streaming over, had to reach back to get it, throw across his body to get the pitcher in stride, catching first base just ahead of the runner. Web gem if I've ever seen one.
Nice.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. As I've offered to Joe many times, I would happily take a trade Aussie for Nico straight up. That will never happen, I know. All right, guys, that's it for us this week. Audio recordings are available on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts. We're live on YouTube as well as Facebook. Merchandise is at redbubble.com. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/dollardogsandbeer. We're presented by Dark Arrow Podcast, LLC, and sponsored by Baron Barbershop over in Mannheim. Guys, may your dog always cost $1. May your beer always be cold. Have a good night.
Go Bears!